Good afternoon and welcome to a very special Kerry Garden Show. Alan Finn here with you, and if you are listening on the radio, you're probably wondering what the hell that buzzing sound is. Well, my advice to you is get on to our video, because right now I am dressed in a beekeeper suit because we talk about them all the time. They are one of the most important members of your garden, and today we're going to find out a little bit more about the bee. We have come to the mountains here outside Glen Bay, and we are going to meet Gary here, our beekeeper, who is going to run us through this excitement that's going on here. Gary, you're very welcome to the Garden Show.
Thank you very much, Alan. How are you?
I'm good. I'm keeping calm, which is the main thing.
Absolutely.
Very important, I'm thinking, considering what's around me.
Yes.
So, Gary, you work in Boyles of Killorglin. That's how we've kind of got here, and this is one of your passions.
It is, absolutely.
Talk to me about beekeeping.
Well, I'll start with getting into bees. I was always mad into animals and different creatures, but like, as you can see, we have blackthorn, we have different flowers around here, and it was just like, you know, I'd like to work for myself. What can I do? Met a very interesting man in Sunhill, Pat Curran, we'll give him a shout out. Went in, and ever since then, got 2 hives of bees, and as you can see, it's
grown. Yeah, no, you've got a fine selection of bees here at the moment. And listen, as I said, we are always talking about the importance of bees on the Garden Show with Miguel. So, talk to us. So, from your perspective, you've learned so much about them, and I guess we can talk about it's worth 60 million to the agricultural and food industry every year and everything like that. But like, these little things are just one of the most important members of the ecosystem.
Absolutely. It's not only honeybees, like, it's all bees. So I'll just give you a quick background and like what kind of bees we have here. We have 21 different types of bumblebee. 21? And we have 77 solitary bees.
Okay.
So there's 77 different breeds, and then you have your honeybee.
Okay. So the honeybee is a breed on its own?
It's a breed on its own.
Okay.
It's actually comes from a wasp, would you believe? The bees come from a wasp, yeah.
Oh no!
So they're
I hate wasps.
Yes, totally different though. Totally different. So like, the bees are a big pollinator. Wasps are pollinators. Bumblebees are pollinators. But like, as you can see, the society and the size and everything else, like, you would never see any other bees come to this size. Only honeybees. Honeybees will build a hive of 80,000 bees, 100,000 bees. Never more than that really, but 80 to 100,000 most. And
so are you saying that's what we've got here pretty much in front of us here? Or
since we're a bit later in the year, I'd say we're down a bit. We're looking at between 40 and 60,000. Still a lot of bees.
Wow.
But they'll cull their numbers down and down. So they're comfortable. They have enough honey to last their year, stuff like that. But even from when I first got bees to now, like the flowers that like have this every year are multiplying because they're getting pollinated.
Okay.
Whether before here, I'd say with like different sprays and stuff people are using. Not so much now, thank God, but it's still there. You see the numbers dwindle away, flowers dwindle away.
Yeah.
Not half as many blackberries on the thorn bush.
Yeah.
But now, since I got the bees, and even local farmers like, oh geez, we won't spray this time of year. Or what time is a good time of year? So they'll all communicate with you if you're good with them, and then you just see everything else.
The benefits are there, and I suppose even from the farmer's point of view as well too, it's a huge benefit for them, because as you said, we're up here now in the mountains just outside Glen Bay, and you know, there is land stretching as far as I can see, and you've got your whitethorn, you've got probably your heather and stuff like that. How did this summer go? Because we had quite a strange one, very hot strange. And warm May, June, and then an absolute downpour of a July. How does that kind of affect things with the bees?
It affected it massively this year. Honey yield's very down this year. You had, as you said, May was very good, started June. You had the clover out early, which is not out till July. You had the blackberry out early, which is out late July, August. So then the rain came.
Yeah.
So the bees need 22 degrees to pollinate clover, which wasn't happening. Blackberry, you'd be able to work off it all right, but with the rain, it's just a complete washout.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I am where I am. We have the heather on the mountain this time of year.
Okay.
And you see a lot of people like in the Midlands now would be struggling this time of year. They probably have to feed their bees, which I preferably wouldn't do.
Okay.
I'm all about leaving supers on. We have plenty of ivy around the area. So late in the year, once I have my own yield off, I put on another super for them to feed them their own honey instead of sugar. But you'll see a lot of people, like, as again, locally I am in the location I am in, if you're in like the Listowel or maybe certain parts of Limerick with the lowland, there's a lot of feeding going on now this time of year. You know?
Okay.
And that's just
So for anybody who's obviously out there interested in beekeeping, obviously one of the things you've pointed out is location is very, very important, because obviously you need to be away from enough of kind of, you know, I suppose villages and towns and stuff like that, and even what about farmers? What about farm animals and stuff like that? How do they work with them?
Generally, like the smaller the farm animal, the better.
Okay.
Bees tend to work off vibration more than anything else. So if you have like sheep, goats, anything like that, or young animals, generally fine. The heavier the animal, like horses, cattle, you can keep them in the same field, but you just want your fence a bit further out from your hive.
Just the vibrations of them walking past or running or anything like that.
So it's all on the feed. It's mainly because of bears and stuff like that. That's where they developed it from.
Okay.
It's like the heavy bear print coming down, tearing into the hive.
The natural.
So they still have that in their head. So if you're quiet, they're generally quiet. But yeah, like people have them on rooftops of houses, buildings and cities and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with it. Just, again, don't put it too close to the farmer next door if he's a pat. Just in case, like your bees might be docile, they mightn't do anything, but you just don't want to take the risk. So just somewhere nice and quiet, facing east for the sun, for the morning sun, and after that, then you should be okay. Okay,
excellent, and that's all very very interesting, especially about the facing east. You were telling me earlier as well that they've got they've got amazing senses. The bees,
absolutely,
amazing senses, to the point that if you have them facing the wrong way, they'll sleep in. They'll be like a teenager, will they?
Absolutely. The bee has 5 eyes.
5 eyes.
5 eyes.
Okay.
He's 2 for ultraviolet light. So even on a cloudy day, what they do within nearly every 5 minutes, if they're out in the flowers here, they look up at the sun and they'll recalculate
where they
hive.
are.
Wow. Yeah, they'll recalculate using that, and they have 2. Say if it's all cloudy and they can't see the sun, that's where they have 2 eyes on top that will see through the ultraviolet light. And the ultraviolet light coming through, and they'll be able to still work out where their hive is.
So that's their GPS.
Well. Yes.
That's their GPS. So obviously, then when the different types of bees you have, you've got your worker bees, you've got your drones, you've got your queen, you've got your foragers. So the foragers are going out, they're looking for their flowers and their gardens and stuff like that.
Water, anything like that.
Anything like that. And that's where our listeners and our viewers come in. So obviously, when you're talking about the different types of pollinators and the different things they think, what are the ones that you would always recommend to people to have in their garden that would help the bees to pollinate and also to create honey?
Anything kind of natural, like the natural bee bombs you can get with the wildflower. Try to get the Irish ones, because there's different ones from different countries.
Cool.
So like in Boyles, they'll have them. Any kind of wildflower. Wildflower is what you want. But anything that produces pollen is good for bees. Anything that produces nectar is good for bees. So most flowers are, they're not. If you want honey, you need the nectar. But if it's just to feed the bees, look after the bees, it's pollen. Most flowers produce their pollen. So like anything will do these.
So your white thorn bushes as well too. You were saying about your heathers. So is that the wild mountain yellow heather that we always see, or is there any kind of cultivated ones?
It's purple. It's purple.
Oh, the purple heather. Yes.
Purple heather.
Okay.
Like you see kind of there now, it's kind of gone orangey. That's because it's dying off. But yeah, it's bright purple. It produces your nectar. It also produces pollen. So like not every flower produces nectar, but nearly every flower produces pollen. So the nectar is actually how they make the honey.
So the nectar. So the pollen feeds the bees.
Yes.
The nectar is what they use to make the honey.
Yes.
Okay. And obviously then that obviously dictates the taste. What would Killorglin honey taste like now? Or Glenbeigh, sorry.
Glenbeigh honey is mixed. So I mix my honey with all the different flowers from the different year. So I mix normally clover, blackberry and heather together.
Right.
Heather isn't the easiest to mix together, so at this stage now I'm thinking about separating it. So we'll just keep it like your summer honeys together. Clover is very light and rich. It's nearly like water in a jar.
Okay.
You go on to blackberry, it's a lot darker, a small bit thicker. You go on to heather, like so later in the year, the thicker it seems to get, the heavier, darker it seems to get.
Yeah.
But like that, it's the flavors.
It is,
flavors, and you can tell the difference between the different seasons.
And also obviously between what they're actually eating, like, you know, and that all kind of dictates it.
Yes.
So we've been here now. We've got the different sections of the hive.
Yes.
You've taken off a couple, and I'm literally, it's just crazy. As I said, I know the listeners are probably going, "What is that buzzing noise?" But I'm literally surrounded by bees here, and it's thousands and thousands. But they are quite. You were saying these are not very aggressive bees.
No.
They're just kind of trying to protect everything.
If they were aggressive, they'd be a lot louder. You visibly see them trying to sting you.
Yeah.
They're just curious now. They're flying
curious.
around. They're settling on you, going, "Geez, what are you doing here?"
Yeah.
Generally
Talk to
the way
me
you
about.
watch the bees.
I remember hearing a very interesting stat. Right.
Yeah.
Tell me about the temperature of the hive and how that temperature is created.
So the bees, like some people put insulation on their hive, stuff like that. We don't get cold enough weather for that. If it was to go very cold, maybe I wouldn't even bother. What we generally tend to do is a couple of holes underneath the hive. Like I have a solid base. You get some people that they've like a mesh base. I think they tend to lose a lot of pollen and stuff like that. You know, each their own. There's so many different ways.
Yeah.
But myself, I vent the holes in the bottom. And what the bees will do, and especially you see in the honey there, some honey is capped, some isn't.
Yeah.
You can still see the honey inside. So how they actually regulate the temperature of the hive is fanning
By their wings.
Yeah.
I think I find it fascinating. But how hot can it actually get in there?
They normally try to keep it around our own temperature, 36, 37.
Yeah.
They don't want to go too high. Like if you see the Asian bees, they especially talk about, you know, the hornets.
Yes.
Where they surround the hornets and they overheat them. Now they bring that temperature obviously up a bit higher than they would have their hive.
Yeah.
But generally they try to keep it just nice steady temperature for the eggs, for the bees.
Yeah.
If they feel it's too much, they can fan it down or fan a bit faster.
Yeah.
A lot of the fanning is done as well for the honey.
Okay.
So there's a lot of moisture in the honey when it starts.
So you kind of dry it out a
So
little
they
bit.
dry out the honey and fan. So if you came up late at night about 10 o'clock, you wouldn't see anything happening outside, but you'd hear it inside.
I'm just taking up one here now with one hand. I'm being very brave here, I think. But we can see some of the eggs, and we can see the honeycomb and everything like that. And it's the smell is just amazing. I love it, Gary. It is just so nice.
And it's just like taking off the different boxes. Like different boxes normally have different honey in it.
Yeah.
And the different smells like going up along. It's just smell.
So you were saying the kind of the lower boxes is kind of the summer honey, and this is kind of a more recent kind of honey. The further up you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can take out one frame of brood there now. I don't think I've showed you the brood yet.
Sorry lads, I'll just leave you down there now for a second.
The frame of brood will look like this. So nice and gently, just grab one corner, give it a nice shake. Now you can kind of see it there now a bit better.
Okay, right, so we've got the real kind of thick honeycomb there at the top, and then all of these capped ones, is that all the eggs and the larvae?
That is all your eggs, absolutely,
Wow.
Yeah. So generally she'll fill that top to bottom.
Kind of popping
that
out
is
there.
actually just being born now.
Oh my God, wow.
So,
that is just popping out.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
now her first job would be come out, kind of gather herself and go back in and clean out her own self.
Okay.
That'll be her first job.
So that's the first job. So they're fascinating creatures, really, aren't they?
And no one will help her.
No.
No one will help her now.
Yeah.
It's mad.
They'll just all kind of, you all got to learn yourself. And there's another one actually coming out there. Oh wow. Fascinating. And thankfully, you know, it has become more and more popular, especially here in Kerry, Gary, with the beekeeping. So the beekeeping community, how important is that around the area, and even just for yourself?
Very, very important. Like myself now, I try to go as many meetings as possible, but you know, when you're working in a couple of different things, it's hard to do that. But like we have big groups, like WhatsApp and stuff like that, and it's just if anyone has a problem, they can post pictures. If I had the same problem, you know, you're getting your information off that, or if I had the problem before, helping people out, and it's community.
Community, expertise and stuff like that.
You know, I suppose it's like anything. There will be fellas that don't want to give you any information in case you take honey off them or sales off them. But the majority of them are good people.
Everyone's kind of good and helpful.
Majority do as a hobby, just honey for themselves or honey for their family. Stuff like that. But it's generally a good community of people. Like good honey shows. There's always information. But the thing with bees is there's so many different ways to keep bees.
Okay.
So many different ways. Like I don't treat my bees. A lot of people frown on that. As you can see, my hives are doing pretty well without
They're
treatment.
doing all right, yeah.
So, and there's studies been done that the bees actually bite the mites' legs off. So varroa mite is a big problem here. It came from Asia originally. Someone brought over the European bee, bred it with the Asian bee
Okay.
to produce a better bee,
Right.
and brought it back and brought the mites with it.
Sometimes it can just not always
Yes,
go
it doesn't
well.
always go to plan.
But if someone was interested in getting into beekeeping, Gary, what would you kind of say to them or recommend to them?
I would
Their first step.
before you do a course, and everybody said do a course. Before you do a course, put on a suit. Go to a local beekeeper like myself. Give me a ring. Any kind of one in your local area. You'll always find someone.
Yeah.
Just throw on a suit and go into the hives with them.
Yeah.
Because you could go in and do a course and then put on the suit and go, Jesus, no.
This is
So I would recommend try on the suit.
This is the classroom you need to be in right now. It's right here in
yeah.
front of them and being able to kind of see
The practical
and
side of things with bees is more important than the book side of bees. 'Cause
Okay.
if you can't stand here, deal with the hives, deal with a couple of stings which you could get,
and the noise and everything.
and
just
everything else,
everything.
then
Yeah.
there's no point doing the course. But
Okay.
I would say just throw on a suit. You'll always have your local beekeeper will have an extra suit or suit or two. Just go and see one hive, see how you feel about it.
Yeah.
And then you can always do bee course. They have them in Killorglin, Beaufort, as far as I know, Killarney beekeepers. You'll always have like these big areas. You'll always have clubs. So Killorglin, Killarney, Tralee all have big clubs. If you get in contact, if your closest one is probably the better one for you.
Yeah.
Just because if you need a help or anything like that, generally the older fellas will give you a hand, or the older ladies will give you a hand.
Yeah.
In the pursuit of getting to bees.
It is. It's fascinating. I find it very, very fascinating. And I'd say there's nothing more satisfying than having your own jar of honey to be able to put on the breakfast or put on a nice slice of toast. And
I'm lucky my bees do so well because I'm my own biggest customer.
oh, brilliant!
It goes on everything.
Yeah.
It goes on everything.
Excellent. So look, we can't overemphasize it enough.
Yeah.
It's important to keep these guys in our ecosystem. They're a
Absolutely.
very, very vital part of it.
Yeah.
They pollinate everything from fruit trees to crops to our flowers in our gardens and stuff like that. So wherever you can, guys, we always say it. Miguel is always on about it.
Yeah.
Try and find those pollinators. Find somewhere for a bit of nepitas or any like that are good for the bees, and maybe even a bit of heather if you had it, or a whitethorn bush.
Yeah.
Let's keep these guys flourishing. And have you found the numbers of bees, kind of, Gary, after the last 5 years? Have you found them kind of increasing, or how have you?
In the sense of more people keeping them, like you'll always have losses over your winter, whether it be queenless. Normally you'll be able to spot that and sort it out earlier in the year, but if they're queenless going into the winter, you can always join them up with other hives.
Okay.
But you'll always lose a few.
Okay.
It's never straightforward. The most I've ever lost is 10 hives, but then you've gained 15.
Right.
The year after that, and
Okay,
lost
right,
5, and then you might gain another 5. And it all depends on the year.
Yeah.
But generally, once they're fed, they should be good. Numbers are high. If the numbers are low, just join them up with another hive.
Okay.
Excellent. But other than that, they're pretty straightforward. They look after themselves.
They do, yeah.
The less messing around you can do with them, I feel, is the better.
Okay.
And it's worked out for me so far. Just making sure that they have everything they need.
Excellent,
You know?
excellent. Well, Gary, listen, this has been an experience and a half. I have
problem.
thoroughly enjoyed it. I found it very informative as well too. And as he said, if you do have a beekeeper in your area, why not go along, have a chat, talk to them, and find out about the interesting world of bees. And you might even come away with a jar of honey. Yeah, I got a jar of honey
That's
coming.
it,
Yeah,
absolutely.
excellent.
Cheese bees, look after you.
Geez bees, absolutely. That's it from a very unique garden show here in Glen Bay. Thanks to Gary and all his lovely bees. And we will be back in the Killorglin Garden Centre with Miguel next week, and we hope to see you all then. Until next time, happy gardening.
Bye, guys.